The rap world just went nuclear. Kendrick Lamar has officially dropped the diss track everyone feared was coming. And this time, there's no escape for Drake. From the opening bar, Kendrick isn't just taking shots, he's detonating bombs. Every line cuts deeper than the last, dragging up old beef, exposing private feuds, and painting Drake into a corner he's never been in before. It's not a back and forth anymore. It's a public execution on Wax.Drake. Once the untouchable chart king now finds himself under siege from not just Kendrick, but a growing army of voices in the rap game who've been waiting for this very moment. Social media is already in meltdown timelines flooded with lyric breakdowns, reaction videos, and fans declaring the beef officially over. But here's the question everyone's asking. Can Drake even respond? Because if he does, he risks making it worse. And if he stays silent, the silence will be deafening. This isn't just another rap beef. This is the track that could end an era and crown a new for years. The rap game has been defined by eras. There was the reign of the East Coast pioneers, the West Coast Revolution, and then the meteoric rise of Drake, the Toronto superstar who seemed to turn everything he touched into platinum. Drake wasn't just selling records, he was shaping the sound of a generation. His blend of melodic hooks, clever wordplay, and global appeal made him untouchable in the charts and nearly impossible to outshine in the mainstream. But every king faces challengers. And in the shadows of Drake's dominance, Kendrick Lamar was quietly building a different kind of empire. One rooted not in catchy singles, but in lyrical precision, cultural commentary, and raw authenticity. While Drake perfected the art of pop rap, Kendrick sharpened his pen into a weapon. The tension between them has been simmering for years. Subtle jabs in interviews, hidden lines and verses that fans dissected for weeks. Moments on stage where they seemed friendly, yet their eyes told a different story. Industry insiders whispered about private disagreements, about collaborations that never happened, and about mutual friends forced to pick a side. Then came the recent wave of events that lit the fuse. Kendrick's collaborations with other heavyweights, Tyler the Creator publicly praising Kendrick's artistry, and Drake's latest album debuting to mixed reception, something unheard of in his career until now. The numbers were still strong by normal standards, but for Drake, anything less than domination was seen as a setback. Fans started noticing a shift in momentum. Kendrick's name was trending for his artistry, his socially charged performances, and his tight-lipped mystery. Drake's name trending for the wrong reasons: controversial lyrics, awkward interviews, and the growing perception that he might be losing his edge. Behind the scenes, both camps knew a collision was inevitable. Kendrick had been working on something with bite. And when it dropped, it wasn't just another diss track, it was a career-defining moment. The release shook the culture. The beat was minimal but menacing, letting every syllable hit with maximum force. Kendrick didn't just go after Drake's music, he went after his image, his credibility, and his legacy. By the time the track faded out, hip-hop fans knew. They had just witnessed the opening shots of a war that could change the hierarchy of rap forever. This wasn't just about bars, this was about the throne. And now, it's up to Drake to decide if he's ready to fight for it, or watch it slip away. The moment Kendrick's nuclear diss hit streaming platforms, the rap ecosystem flipped upside down. Within the first hour, the track wasn't just trending, it was dominating every social feed, every hip-hop blog, and every group chat in the culture. Fans weren't debating if Kendrick had gone too far. They were arguing whether Drake even had the tools to recover. Kendrick's verses were razor-sharp, but it was the precision of his targets that left the biggest mark. He didn't waste a single bar. He went after Drake's commercialized sound, implying that the Toronto rapper had traded authenticity for radio hits. He questioned Drake's influence on the next generation, even calling out younger artists who mimic his style, framing them as watered-down versions of an artist who, in Kendrick's view, was already past his peak. Then came the personal jabs. Lines about ghostwriting allegations resurfaced. Subtle nods to past relationships Drake had flaunted in his lyrics were now twisted into vulnerabilities. And in perhaps the most cutting blow, Kendrick positioned himself as the voice of true hip-hop, suggesting that Drake's reign was a brand deal with the industry rather than a genuine claim to the throne. The first twist: Kendrick wasn't alone. Tyler, the creator, appeared in a surprise verse midway through the track, and his delivery was pure chaos, playful but lethal. Tyler didn't just echo Kendrick's criticisms, he mocked Drake's public persona. He poked fun at his awkward dance moves, his over-the-top Instagram captions, and even hinted at backstage stories that fans had never heard before. This wasn't just an artistic collaboration, it was a public declaration of alliance. The shock of Tyler joining forces with Kendrick created an entirely new dynamic. For years, Drake had managed to keep relationships with most big names in rap, even those who occasionally threw light jabs. But this was different. It was open warfare from two respected heavyweights at the top of their craft. Industry reaction was immediate and intense. Record label executives were scrambling, some worried about how the feud might split audiences, others licking their lips at the attention it would bring to the genre. Streaming platforms gave the diss track prime placement, with editorial playlists pushing it straight into the ears of millions. Meanwhile, Drake's camp went quiet. No cryptic tweets, no Instagram stories, no leaks from the studio. Just silence. And that silence spoke volumes. To his critics, it looked like hesitation. To his loyal fans, it looked like Drake was plotting something massive. But behind the scenes, there were whispers. Some claimed Drake had already recorded a response and was waiting for the perfect moment. Others said he was shaken, not because of the lyrics alone, but because Kendrick had managed to shift public perception in just one song. The stage was set for a response, but with every passing day, the pressure grew heavier. And if history has taught us anything about rap beefs, it's that timing can make or break the war. By day 3, the diss track wasn't just music anymore. It was a cultural event. Every podcast, Twitch stream, and Twitter space was dissecting Kendrick's nuclear drop bar by bar, slowing it down, running back the beats, analyzing double entendres like it was a courtroom trial. Clips of Tyler's mocking verse had gone viral on TikTok, with users lip-syncing his jabs at Drake's Instagram softboy era, while adding their own comedic reenactments. But the real escalation came when Kendrick took the war off the track and into the spotlight. That weekend, during his headline set at a major festival, Kendrick cut the music midway through his set. The stage lights went black. Then, in front of tens of thousands, he played the diss track's most brutal verse, a cappella, letting every jab echo without the cushion of a beat. The crowd erupted, some chanting, "OVO is over," while others just stood in disbelief. And then came the shocking reveal. Kendrick pulled out his phone on stage, opened Instagram Live, and scrolled through unreleased DMs messages between mutual industry friends, hinting at behind-the-scenes shade from Drake himself. While he blurred names for legal reasons, the implication was clear. Drake had been talking about Kendrick in private for months, quietly undermining his influence in the industry. This wasn't just beef anymore. It was proof, receipts. And hip-hop fans eat that up like oxygen. The internet went nuclear. Screenshots from Kendrick's live stream flooded Twitter. Memes painted Drake as cornered in his Toronto mansion, while Kendrick stood tall as the people's champion. Even some artists who had been neutral began subtly picking sides. A well-known producer tweeted, "The truth always finds the mic." while another rapper posted a fire emoji over Kendrick's performance clip. Drake, meanwhile, was still silent publicly, but anonymous sources close to OVO told hip-hop blogs that he was furious about the DMS and ready to end Kendrick's career. Those same sources claimed Drake had been in the studio with an all-star lineup, plotting the most savage clapback of his career. But that wasn't the only twist. Out of nowhere, a mysterious tweet from Tyler appeared late at night. "We're not done yet. Level 2 loading." Theories exploded. Was there a second diss track already recorded? Was this just part of a calculated rollout to keep Drake under pressure? Or was Kendrick planning to drop more receipts, maybe even full names? By this point, it wasn't just hip-hop fans following the saga. Mainstream media outlets were picking it up, turning the rap feud into a pop culture headline. Talk shows debated whether Drake's silence was strategic genius or the biggest mistake of his career. The rap game had officially entered its most dangerous phase. The point where public perception snowballs and even the truth starts to feel like part of the entertainment. The morning after Kendrick's festival bombshell, the internet was a minefield of opinions, memes, and outright chaos. Hashtags like #Drake defeated and #Kendrick receipts dominated Twitter's trending list. You couldn't scroll Instagram without stumbling upon a clip of Kendrick's a cappella verse, spliced into reaction videos of people screaming, falling out of chairs, or pausing mid-bite at restaurants to yell, "No way he said that." TikTok was worse or better, depending on your point of view. Users were stitching together lyric breakdowns with conspiracy-level production, cross-referencing lines from the diss to old interviews, past tweets, and obscure behind-the-scenes footage from the last decade. It wasn't just hip-hop fans participating anymore. Pop culture influencers, NBA players, and even a few Hollywood actors chimed in with cryptic posts that seemed to lean in Kendrick's favor. The music industry was buzzing like it hadn't in years. Some insiders called it the most compelling rap feud since Nas vs. Jay-Z, while others warned Drake's brand was bleeding out in real time. A-list producers and songwriters began quietly unfollowing Drake on social media. A subtle but brutal statement in the hyper-connected entertainment world. Even artists who'd collaborated with both were feeling the heat. One well-known R&B singer deleted a story that featured Drake's music after fans flooded her comments, calling her disloyal. Radio stations took sides. Urban hip-hop stations were running Kendrick's diss track on heavy rotation, while more pop-oriented platforms seemed to be waiting for Drake's inevitable counterstrike. Spotify's Rap Caviar playlist featured Kendrick's track at the #1 slot, adding fuel to the narrative that Drake was officially on the defensive. But perhaps the most telling sign came from corporate sponsors. While no brand outright dropped, Drake whispers in PR circles suggested some companies were monitoring the situation closely. Code for, "This gets uglier, we may cut ties." Kendrick, on the other hand, was reportedly fielding calls from brands eager to tap into the cultural moment. Fans on both sides were at war in the comment section. Drake loyalists accused Kendrick of clout chasing and saving his career by targeting the biggest name in rap, while Kendrick supporters argued he was simply holding Drake accountable and ending a reign built on arrogance. Even casual listeners who didn't normally follow hip-hop were getting pulled in. Morning shows discussed it alongside political headlines. Sports commentators referenced it mid-broadcast. One NFL player even celebrated a touchdown by mimicking Kendrick's festival mic drop moment. By midweek, the feud had officially transcended music. It was a full-blown cultural event. It's a kind that doesn't just trend, it embeds itself in the collective memory. The only question left hanging in the air, would Drake answer with a diss track so sharp it rewrote the story? Or had Kendrick already delivered the knockout punch? Just when it seemed the dust might settle, Kendrick pulled off one last, perfectly timed strike. And this one didn't even involve a microphone. On Thursday night, while Drake was spotted In Toronto, leaving a closed-door studio session, Kendrick posted a single, cryptic Instagram story, a photo of a chessboard mid-game, with a white king cornered by a black rook. No caption, no tags, just the image. Within minutes, the internet exploded. Rap blogs decoded it instantly. Checkmate. Fans flooded Drake's latest post with chess emojis. Hip-hop Twitter began speculating that Kendrick's move meant he had another diss locked and loaded, possibly even more devastating than the festival verse. Some claimed the track had already been recorded and was being held back, just in case Drake dares to respond. Then came the leak. An anonymous Reddit account, brand new, no history, posted what it claimed was a snippet of unreleased Drake audio. In it, a voice eerily similar to Drake's seemed to be venting frustration about fake friends and industry snakes. Whether it was real or not, didn't matter. The timing was too perfect. Within hours, #leaked Drake was trending. Worldwide, Drake's camp stayed silent, but insiders reported a frenzy behind the scenes. Producers were being flown into Toronto overnight, and rumors swirled that OVO Sound had booked out 3 major studios simultaneously. The question wasn't if Drake would respond, but how, and whether it would be enough. Meanwhile, Kendrick was seen in Los Angeles, laughing with friends at a rooftop lounge. No visible stress, no rush to engage. Industry veterans noted how unusual this was. Most rap battles involve a flurry of back and forth within days, but Kendrick seemed content to let his last shot echo in the silence. It was psychological warfare, and he was winning. The cultural conversation was now split down the middle. Some were convinced Drake was holding back the real response, a verse so sharp it would flip the narrative overnight. Others believed Kendrick had already won, and anything Drake dropped now would feel desperate, a late move in a game already lost. As Friday midnight approached, all eyes turned to streaming platforms. Fans refreshed Spotify and Apple Music obsessively, waiting for that one notification that could change everything. Would Drake rise from the ashes with a career-defining rebuttal? Or had Kendrick already carved his name into hip-hop history as the man who finally toppled the king? Hip-hop fans, this is the moment. The kind of rap drama we'll still be talking about 10 years from now. Kendrick Lamar has played this battle like a grandmaster, moving with precision, patience, and pure lyrical firepower. Drake, the man who spent over a decade at the top, is standing at a crossroads where every choice could define or destroy his legacy. But here's where you come in. This isn't just something to watch from the sidelines. The culture is being shaped in real time, and your voice is part of that story. Do you think Drake still has the power to bounce back, or has Kendrick just delivered the final chapter of an era? Drop your takes in the comments, tag your friends, start debates in the group chat. Post your own lyric breakdowns, reaction videos, or hot takes, because trust me, the internet is going to be dissecting every move, every post, and every track in the days ahead. If you're Team Drake, tell us what you want to hear in his response. If you're Team Kendrick, explain why you think this is already checkmate. And if you're on the fence, well, maybe the next verse will push you to pick a side. Follow this channel, turn on notifications, and stay locked in. Because when, or if Drake finally responds, we'll be breaking it down bar for bar. No punches pulled. History is being written right now in the booth and on the timeline. The question is, whose pen will sign the final page?